Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre.
Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast.
We're your hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre. Thank you so much for taking time out of your life to join our podcast today. Got a great episode planned. Before we get started, I just want to remind you that tickets are soon on sale for our Childcare Genius live conference in Las Vegas, April 14th, 15th, and 16th at the Golden Nugget Hotel downtown Las Vegas. World's most advanced childcare conference. And we're accepting people on our wait list right now. So we're going to wait list the tickets and they're going to go on sale beginning of October. So you want to go to childcaregenius.com under the conference tab, select Childcare Genius Live and get on our wait list. Those on our wait list are going to get a ticket offer and save up to $200 off tickets. So you definitely want to get on our wait list for sure. Today's guest on our podcast is Christine McNally. Christine is a multi-center owner in the state of Nevada. And I said that right. And I started coaching Christine many years ago. She was a home provider in California and she moved to Nevada and opened a childcare center. And now she's getting ready to open her third school and is doing fantastic and growing like crazy. She joined our team at Childcare Genius University. She's on our faculty. She's been coaching. She works with our executive mentorship program. So she coaches our directors and executive directors and trains them and does coaching calls with them. So I think you're going to love this lady. And she's an amazing coach, amazing business owner, amazing mom, amazing wife. She's just a really all-around, really good person. Carol and I had the pleasure of spending a week with her and her husband in St. Lucia a couple years ago and really got to know them. We had fun there, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah,
very much.
Really good time. We took a few couples down there and had a really good time. So I think you're going to enjoy this episode. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the conference or enjoy the podcast. Rather.
Let's get Christine on the line. Hi, Christine. Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast. How are you doing?
Hi,
Christine.
Good, doing good. How are you guys?
How are things in Nevada? Is it hot?
It is pretty hot. Yes, we're in the upper 90s right now.
Oh, okay. That's not like 110, not like Vegas hot. So you're up northern,
Oh,
so
no.
it's not quite as bad. But still upper
Yeah.
90s in that area is probably pretty baking, right?
Yes, and super smoky right now from the fires.
Oh, really? California
Yeah.
wildfires are coming over?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we had another huge fire in California, actually out by Paradise, which happened in 2018, where it wiped through the whole town. Right next to it in Chico, another huge fire. And so the smoke has really socked us in a little bit.
Any in those fires anywhere where you used to live? Any close to where you used to live?
No, my daughter actually went to Chico State. So it's in the town where she just graduated from last spring.
Yeah, such a shame. So many fires this year. It's weird weather this year, but we're glad you're okay. But yeah, we've had to deal with the smoke from Canadian wildfires last year. We know that's not fun going outside, and sometimes you got to keep the kids inside because it's just it's not good to breathe in. So a lot of people know you, but there are some listeners who probably have never heard of Christine McNally. And I know it's hard to believe, but can you tell us more about your background? What was your life like before you started in this crazy childcare business?
Well, before I started in this crazy childcare business, I was just in high school. So I started in 1998. My husband and I met in high school. We had our first child young, and I had him in a facility with my best friend's mom. just some weird things happening, and I wasn't happy with the level of care that he was getting. And so I came home one day and I called my mom. I was 19. I called my mom and I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't take him back there. They weren't changing his diapers. He was being left alone and he was only 6 months. And she was like, just open your own. So that's what I did at 19. So I've been doing this since 1998. In 2019, we decided to branch out from our large in-home and into a center. So we moved to Northern Nevada, had a center there in a rural area in Gardnerville called Under the Magic Pine Tree. And then just in January of 2023, we opened our second location in Reno near the airport, and are in escrow to close on a building to open location number 3 in September.
That is awesome. And congratulations. I remember a couple years ago us sitting down and mapping out. You told me what your plan was, expansion, and you are right. It's how power of setting goals, right, Christine?
Yes.
This is right according to the plan we set years ago, and you are doing good, you and Wade. So happy for you. So exciting. Congrats.
Thank you.
So you're on our faculty at Child Care Genius University as one of our amazing coaches. What do you like best about teaching at Child Care Genius University?
The people are so amazing. They have true greatness inside of all of them, whether they know it or not. And I love watching them discover that and helping them to discover that. They're just the people. I work on the director's side, and so I get to work with all the directors, and they just are amazing people, and they're so eager to learn. And nobody goes to work thinking, you know what, I'm going to go in and just do a really bad job. Like, nobody ever does that. They just want to do what's best for the kids, what's best for their centers, and they just have such great hearts, and I just love working with them.
And you lead our we call it executive mentorship. That's where we train the team members, the leadership team. And I've heard so many good things. And when we do our conference in Las Vegas, our owners and directors are separated, and you lead the training over on that end. And boy, did I hear some great comments about your teaching over there. You're a truly rock star. Where did you get the gift of teaching from? Is it something you just had natural, or where did you get this gift?
I just had this passion for, like, that's the thing. If I didn't do what I'm doing now, I would just want to develop people. Like, I love developing people. So I used to be afraid to get in front of people. And then a few years ago, I had to get up on stage and give a presentation to, I don't know, almost 1,000 people. And I was really nervous. And then after I did that, I was like, that was not bad at all. And it kind of just kickstarted the whole thing. So it just really made that passion grow, that I could do it for more than just, my little group of 10 employees.
Well, I know our owners are appreciative.
Very
much so. So what are the challenges that you're seeing in owners today? So I know you work with owners as well, and you're involved with Nevada Child Care Association. Am I correct?
Yes, that is getting up and rolling. We had a few hiccups at the time, and we're actually looking at merging an advocacy group that we're in with that and growing it and making it bigger. But yes.
So you talk to owners, on social media. You have a big sphere of influence. You talk to owners in your market. What are you seeing as some of the challenges around the world today with childcare owners?
I think a big thing that I see is just like a lack of knowledge on how leaders should lead leaders. How to. There's so many times where we see somebody that we're like, oh, that person's really good at their job, and then we move them into a leadership position and we forget all the steps in between, and maybe we didn't realize that the communication wasn't the same style or whatever it was. Just learning how to lead people, I think, is a big struggle, and I see a lot of it happen time and time again, where I was like, ooh, we need to up your leadership skills so that you know how to lead a leader, because that's different, right, than just leading a staff, coaching staff, especially if you were an owner director and then you move into maybe an executive role or just an owner role, and now you have a director under you. It's really different than running a staff of teachers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that. And a lot of times we've had owners with leadership struggles. Like you're not born with leadership. You have to kind of
Mm-mm.
develop leadership over time, and it's not taught in high school. It's not taught in college. You don't learn that.
Yeah.
Carol and I learned leadership in the military, but we learned military leadership, which didn't really transcend to me leading female childcare workers. You know, I had them attention, I had them saluting me in the morning. That didn't land very well. I'm kidding about the saluting. Although I thought it would be pretty darn cool, wouldn't it? But anyway, I had problems when I was running the childcare center. I tried to run it like a military operation. That didn't land very well. But we're not teaching leadership. And John Maxwell, we're certified coaches, and we learn that leadership is all about influence and having people follow you and respect you. And a lot of times owners are bosses and not leaders. And we teach that in our university to teach them how to become one. And directors, they tend to lead by example. If you have an owner that has poor leadership, they tend to teach director poor leadership skills as well. So if the owner's taught right, they could teach the directors, and the directors taught. I know you teach your directors right, and then it lands well with the teachers if everybody's trained right.
Yeah, I
What do
think
you
that's the
feel-
biggest struggle. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. What do you feel the biggest struggle for directors are dealing with today, and how do you help them?
I think that it's the same type of thing. Like, the owner side of it has a struggle with learning how to lead a leader, and then our leaders that are running on our operations have a struggle with, how do I communicate with my leader? This era of whatever's happened with our workforce, they're afraid of any kind of conflict. They're afraid of not hearing what they want. They're afraid of disappointment. Like, so many times people are afraid, I'm going to disappoint my leader. And so the communication is just not, it's a struggle for them, and it's weird if you think about, like, us as a species, human beings as a species, we have the most complex communication, how we communicate with others, body language, just audio, everything is all so complex compared to some of the other species throughout the world. And yet we struggle with communication. So I think that just not having that skill, or having that confidence to have that skill, I think is a struggle sometimes for our directors. And I see that a lot too.
As an owner, we need to actually pour into our directors leadership training, communications training. And we were talking about this offline a little bit, to make sure that when you communicate something as an owner, to make sure the director hears what you're saying. And sometimes, I'm guilty of this, saying something and assuming they heard it the way I said it, but sometimes that always land well. So asking them to repeat back what you said, sometimes, like, making sure they heard what you said and not just listen, because sometimes listening is a problem. Like,
yes,
they're not listening to hear, they're listening to respond. And I see that a lot. Like, they can't wait to get their words in, so they're not really listening. So you need to have them repeat back. So, like I said, sometimes repeat back what I just said to make sure you heard what I'm asking here. And I do the same thing back. Like Carol say, what did I just say? Or are you listening to me? She'll say that sometimes because she's not quite sure that I'm like, I daydream sometimes, and she's making sure.
I've heard her say that to you.
Yes, exactly. Because she's not 100% sure, because she knows I have a hearing impairment. So she wants to make sure I heard what she said. And I think that's important in a marriage or in business communication as well. All right, so shifting gears. So we do 2 live conferences a year, a fall conference in the Caribbean, get ready to go to Jamaica in a couple weeks, and a spring conference in Las Vegas. So what do you like best about the conferences that we host?
Oh my goodness, Jamaica. There's just nothing like the Caribbean one. Short days, tons of time to network, so much time to network. I've never been to a conference where I can go to lunch with the speakers. I can go ask other questions. And as a speaker, I've never been somewhere where I can do that as well. So I think that might be one of my favorite things, is that we get done with the training, which is jam-packed in so much good information and impactful information. And then we get done with it and we can go to lunch with a group of attendees and extend that and ask questions and get to know and make connections, because I say it 700 times a month in all of my trainings. Connections is the most important thing, right? We have this innate need for it. And then to be able to just go hang out at the pool or beachside or whatever and make even more connections or connect with other people and learn how they're doing things, or they can learn how I'm doing things. And that's my favorite part of the Jamaica conference. As far as the Las Vegas one, I love that I don't have to go to the East Coast and you all come to me in Nevada. That is fabulous. But also I like how I've been to other conferences where everybody's in the same room. It doesn't matter what your position. I've even seen teachers in the same room as the directors, as the executive directors, as the owners, and they're all getting the same content, and it's not always relevant to everybody, if that makes sense. You know, some people are sitting there and they zone out because they're talking about budgeting and they're a teacher, or they're talking about classroom management and they're an owner. And so I love that our Las Vegas one will really focus on the needs of the individuals. So they have the option, you know, if you're an owner, you have owner content. And if you're a director or executive director, you have that kind of content. So I really love that too.
Yeah, that's a good. I think we have hit the nail on the head as far as the types of designs in our 2 live conferences, and then we do 2 virtual conferences a year just for our members. But yeah, I think you're right that those are my favorite parts of the 2 conferences. Well, and poolside coaching in Jamaica is probably again my favorite part, that we get to go hang out, drink in hand, and just chill out and really just get to know people at a good level. That's your favorite part?
Yeah, I think that one thing that helps is that we're childcare owners. All of our coaches are childcare owners. So we understand what people need when you go to these conferences more than some other organizations do.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. And when we were trying to figure out how to do a conference, like what conference would I want to go to?
Right.
And when we're designing this thing, is that this is exactly the way I would want my conference to be, owning childcare, and how would I want my directors to go? You know, I don't want my directors. I've been to conferences where I'm sitting there and I'm like, why are they talking about profit? My director is in the room. I don't want him to know what profit I make, and I'm cringing, right? And so I'm like, when I design this thing, I'm like, I'm putting directors in a different room. Now we could talk about profit all day long because they're not in the same room, and it's a totally different design. And I think we got it. I think we hit the nail on the head. So it's working and we're growing. So it must be going okay.
How do you juggle being a business owner, a coach, a wife, and a mom?
Oh man, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? Isn't it? Just juggle those pieces. Well, not just a mom, but when I started all of this, I had 5 at home still. So today actually is the first day of school for my kiddos. Number 4 is a senior this year. So I only have a couple of them at home, but it's still a lot. You know, I think that it's really important, especially if you are a couple like me and my husband are, that run and operate our businesses, that you're carving out time that doesn't involve business talk or business related anything. We are going to be the first to tell you we struggle with that, because sometimes he's at one location and I'm at the other, and the kids have to be somewhere else. And so when we come together at the end of the day, we're letting each other know what happened that day. But this last weekend, like we do this sometimes, like last weekend, it was a no business weekend. So we didn't talk about business once. So I think just making sure that you have that carved out. And what's really important is, you know, your children spend the majority of their lives away from you. So you only have that beginning part of their lives with you, you know, 18, or if you have a child, like I have one in college that still lives with me, she's 21. So I still have time with her, but making sure that we carve things out. We go to conferences and it's been a juggling, like, okay, well, we went to a couple of conferences by ourselves, but we need to make sure that we add in something for the kids. So we're going to go to New York, and we've been to Disney this year. We let them choose a couple of places, and just making sure that we really prioritize family time.
Very important. Yeah, we had five when we were building 2 at home. Yeah, that was fun with 7 centers open, and it was a challenge juggling everything, but we figured it out. So if you could do it, and it is, again, it's a priorities, and probably the biggest mistake we made early on was prioritizing business over family. We tell that story so other people don't make that mistake, because you don't get that time back. Thankfully, they all turned out good. 4 of them worked for us, so I guess we did a few things right. But if I had to go back and do it again, I would have had a little bit more family time, a little less work time, because you could always make money later in life, but you can't get the family time back, and I sure miss those family time back. Although the grandkids are kind of fun now.
Yeah,
they're actually more fun.
I don't have those yet. I don't have those yet. So
I could have had them
and
first.
my
I would
kids,
have had it first.
my adult kids that are listening, we're not ready for that.
Yes, stay in school. Well, Christine, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy life to spend some time with us. I know you're definitely a blessing to our members. I know our directors, our personal directors love you, but I know all the directors in the Child Care Genius University love you. And you'll be speaking in Jamaica at our Leverage Conference. You'll also be speaking next year in our Child Care Genius Live Conference. So if you do not have tickets yet, and if you're listening, get on our wait list for tickets. Christine's one of our speakers. She's going to be teaching a lot in the director room. So bring your team, and she's going to be running the room on the director side for 2 days. And they're going to have a lot of advanced content and learn from her. And you won't be disappointed for sure. So thank you again for taking time. Say hi to your awesome husband, Wade, for us. And we will see you in a couple weeks in Jamaica.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
That was a good interview.
Very good interview.
Yeah, Christine is great. She's come a long way from the first day I met her with, small home center to now having, 3 with a lot of employees and a lot of kids. And she works with the Nevada Child Care Association. She leads that, and she does advocacy. She does training. She's just in it. She has her hand in a lot of different things.
Very
right now.
knowledgeable.
Yeah, for sure. And very, she's wicked smart, as we say. I mean, wicked smart. And just a nice person and a great trainer. So nobody I'd rather have teaching my directors than Christine, for sure. So if we can help you in your childcare business and you're struggling, and if you're a center owner and you'd like to do a free coaching call with me, be happy to get on the line. If you haven't done one within a year, I'll be happy to get on the phone and give you some tips and pointers to point you in the right direction, help you get out of that struggle that you're struggling with, no matter what area it is. Just go to childcaregenius.com, and under the coaching tab, say I'd like a free coaching call, and you can get on my calendar and we could talk, and I could hopefully get you back on track. And childcare ownership should be fun. And we try to bring the fun back into childcare ownership. That's something we do. So this concludes this episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. Again, thank you again for taking time out of your life to listen to us. We're very humbled and we appreciate it very much.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.